Hi friends, welcome to my another video. Today in this video, I will discuss about the interesting facts related to electrical plugs. This video will be very interesting because some of the things might be you don't know about the electrical plugs, which is very fascinating, which is very interesting. So let's start this video. This video will be very important as per the interview point of view because interviewer is asking questions related to electrical plug in order to know how much in deep knowledge you have related to electrical sector. Let me ask one question, that which terminal is the neutral terminal and which terminal is the phase terminal of this plug or this plug or this plug. At the time of interview, of course, you will not have this plug. If you have, you can check which terminal is written L and which terminal is written N, and accordingly you can say that this terminal is a line terminal and this terminal is neutral terminal. But at the time of interview, you will not have this plug. So you have to know before this one. So this terminal, which is at your left side, is always the line terminal, and the terminal which will be at your right side will be the neutral terminal. But this case will be opposite if I will talk about the socket, 3-pin socket. In case of 3-pin socket, the right terminal of the 3-pin socket is a line terminal and the left terminal of the 3-pin socket is a neutral terminal, just opposite of the 3-phase plug. In order to remember which side terminal is a line terminal and which side terminal is a neutral terminal, don't try to remember for both, that is for the plug as well as for the socket. Just try to remember for one of them, either plug or the socket. In order to remember such tricky thing, you will always forget after 10 days, 20 days or 1 month, 2 years. That is why you always build your own shortcut. For example, I will give you, in my engineering life, I learned about that capacitor is acting as a open circuit for DC. So I remember this word code. Now I did my engineering 8 years before, but I know this one because I know this code. And I know that the inductor is short circuit for DC, ISD. So I will always remember throughout my life. I will never confuse for which one which one is open for DC circuit or for AC circuit. Just remember one, and after that you can, if the capacitor is open circuit for DC, it means capacitor will be short circuit for AC. And for inductor, if the inductor is short circuit for DC, it means inductor will be open circuit for AC. So you have to build your own shortcut to remember these tricky things throughout your life. It is just an example, it is not related to this topic, but I'm just giving you an advice how to remember this tricky thing. I will tell you how I remember this thing, and I will never forget this thing in my life because I make my own shortcut. I remember only for the plug, and I relate this one. Left is line, then of course the neutral will be right. So left is line, L, L. Left start from L, line start from L. So left is line, so of course the right will be neutral for the plug. If I know this one, at the same time I know that it is opposite for the socket, so I will change it if someone will ask me. The motto of all this discussion is to build your own concept, own codes, own shortcuts to remember such tricky thing throughout of your life. Now let us move to analyze the another interesting facts related to the electrical plug is that you will always find that the earthing pin of the plug is always longer than the phase pin and the neutral pin. The reason behind it, it's very interesting, very fascinating. In order to understand the reason behind the long earthing pin compared to phase pin and neutral pin, let us connect this plug into the 3-pin socket. Here if you can see here that due to the long pin of the earthing pin is going first, and then the phase and neutral pin are going into the neutral and phase slot of the 3-pin socket. It is very clear from this photo also, as the earthing pin is long, so when you are going to connect this plug with the 3-pin socket, then the earthing pin is going first, then the phase pin and neutral pin is going inside the neutral and phase pin slots. So what is the benefit of it? What is the benefit of it when the earthing pin is going first to the earthing slot? The benefit is when you are connecting this plug with the 3-pin socket, then the earthing pin establishing the connection with the earthing first, and then the phase and neutral pin of the plug is establishing the connection with the neutral and phase. So what we observe here, when we are inserting the plug with the 3-pin socket, then first earthing is establishing the connections, and then phase and neutral supply point establishing the connections with the load. So as the earthing pin is first establishing the connections with the earthing point, then the body of the load first get earthed, and then the power supply is reaching to the load. So what is the benefit here? Before the power supply reaching to the load, the body of the load get earthed, and then the power supply is reaching to the load. Let us reverse this scenario in order to better understand this concept. Let us assume that the earthing pin is shorter length compared to phase pin and neutral pin. So when we will make connection of this plug with the power supply, then due to the longer length of phase pin and neutral pin, this iron box will have first the power supply, and due to the shorter length of earthing, after reaching the power supply, it will get earthed. So what we observe, first the power supply is reaching to the iron box and then it is earthed. So suppose there is earth fault in the iron and someone is holding this iron, and when we are plugging, then without before earthing, before getting earthed, the iron box is getting power supply, and at that time who is holding the iron, he will get electrocuted. So now I hope you understand why the earthing pin is longer compared to phase pin and neutral pin. Now here also you will observe that the cross section area of the earthing pin is bigger than the neutral pin and phase pin, meaning the earthing pin is thicker compared to phase pin and neutral pin. What is the reason behind it? There is two reasons behind it. Suppose if someone unknowingly or knowingly want to insert this earthing pin of the plug into the phase or neutral pin of the socket, then what will happen? If someone inserted the earthing pin of the plug with the phase pin of the socket, then we are giving direct power supply to the body of the load in this case. When someone knowingly unknowingly inserted the earthing pin of the plug with the phase pin of the socket, so the power supply will go to the earthing pin, and as the earthing pin wire is connected with the body of the load, so the body of the load will attain high potential, and if someone will touch, then he will get electrocuted. And as the earthing pin is in the phase pin of the socket, then there is no earthing also, so you will not have any way to not get electrocuted in this case. To avoid such condition, what the manufacturer doing is they are making the earthing pin is more thicker than the phase pin and neutral pin. So even if someone knowingly or unknowingly want to insert this earthing pin into the phase pin of the socket or neutral pin of the socket, it will not go inside, as the dia of this earthing pin is more than the phase pin and neutral pin. So anyone knowingly or unknowingly want to insert, he could not do this one because the earthing pin is thicker compared to phase slot and neutral slot of the 3-pin socket. Hope you understood this one. Now the second reason is conceptual reason, that the R is equal to rho into L by A. I can write here R is equal to, resistance is equal to rho into L by A. A is the length and L is the length and A is the cross section area. If the cross section area is more, then the resistance will be less, because R and A is inversely proportional to each other. So if we are making the cross section area of the earthing is high, then the resistance of the earthing point will be low, so which is good for the earthing. As low as resistance is for the earthing, it is good for the electrical installation. So this is the second reason of making the earthing pin is thicker compared to phase pin and neutral pin. Now let us try to understand the another fascinating fact regarding the electrical plug. In some of the plug you might find there is a cuts. Here you can see that there is a cut in the phase pin, neutral pin and earth pin. But in some of the plug you will not find such cuts. Like in this plug there is no cuts. So what is the reason of making cuts in the phase pin, neutral pin and earth pin of some of the plugs, and why in some of the plugs there is no such cuts? So this is our question. The cuts you will find only in those electrical plug whose pin is made up of brass. If that pin is made up of copper, then you will not find such cuts in the pins. Here you can see that this pins of the plug is made up of copper, so there is no cut. And this pin of this plug is made up of brass, that's why there is a cut. So the question is, why in the brass made pin have cuts and why the copper made pin plugs do not have cuts? Because the brass has a tendency to expand when it's get heated. So suppose when we are plugging this to the three pin socket and the load is running, so the current is flowing through these pins, right, from the phase and from the neutral. So due to the flow of current, it will get heated, and as the brass has tendency to get expand when it get heat, then it will stuck with the slot of the 3-pin socket. And when you will try to remove this plug from that 3-pin socket, then it will be difficult as the pin already get stuck due to expansion of these pins. In order to avoid such conditions, manufacturers making cuts in the phase pin and neutral pin. So even if it's expand, it will expand internally as there is a space and it will not get stuck inside the 3-pin sockets. Hope you understood this reason. But in the copper made pin, copper will not get expand for the normal hits or for the higher hits also. So there is a no concept of expanding in the copper pin, so there is no need of cuts also. Hope you understood this concept. In many electrical plugs, you will also find small holes. Not in all plugs, but in good plugs, you will find small holes. The reason of this small hole is to dissipate the heat. When the load is running, then there is a flow of current through these pins. So the plug get heated. So that heat which is generating inside has to release in the atmosphere. For that point of consideration, manufacturer making a small hole in order to dissipate that generated heat from the plug. Now let us try to understand the another fact related to electrical plug is that some plug has the flat pins and some plugs have the rounded pins. In USA, the flat pins are in culture, and in UK, in India, round pins is in culture. Why like this? Why is some country following the flat pins culture and why the some country following the round pin culture? American found that with the same amount of copper, suppose let's take an example that from the 10 grams of copper, they make one rounded pin and one square pin. Then they found that from the same amount of copper, the flat pin have larger surface area compared to rounded pin. So as the surface area is high when the pin is in the flat shape compared to when the pin is in the rounded shape, so American accepted the flat pin. But in the British culture, they built this rounded pin of the plug because it is easy to make, as the round pin is accepted by British from very long time. Now if they want to change it, they have to change all the existing system, which will require a huge capital. For what? For a small benefit. So that is why no one is going to change this round pin, as it is required a very huge capital to change all the existing round pin to flat pin, and it's required very huge capital for a very small benefit. That's why India and British are using the round pin, and many other country where there was a British rule, and the country like USA and the country which have the US influence have the flat pins. Now hope you understood why some countries accepted the flat pin and some countries still using the rounded pin. In some of the electrical plugs or in some mobile charger, you will not find the earthing like this. And even if you will find, the earthing is made up of plastic. So we will try to understand why the some electrical plugs or the mobile charger do not have earthing pin, and even if have, it is made up of plastic. What is the reason behind it? As we know well that the earthing is required to make the body of that equipment which we are going to use to earth it. Meaning, with the help of the earthing pin of the plug, we are giving earthing connection to the equipment body which we are going to use. And as we earthed the body of the equipment, then it will be safe to use. Even if there will be the earth leakage fault happen, we will not get electrical shock. But here the concept completely change, as they not provided earthing in some of the charger or plugs, and even if they provided, the manufacturer provided, they are providing with the plastic pin. So it is very clear that when the charger or the plug which having a 2 pin, or a charger or plug which having a 3 pin but the earthing pin is made up of plastic, it will not provide earthing to the equipment body, and whenever there will be the earth leakage fault happen in the equipment, we will get electrical shock. Then the question is, why the manufacturer not providing the earthing? The reason is very simple. If those equipment which do not have any chances of the earth leakage fault, then we can go for the 2-pin plug or 2-pin charger. If that equipment which we are going to use have no any chance for the earth leakage fault, of course, if there is a no earth leakage fault chance, then there will be no current in the body. And if there is a no current in the body, then no need any discharge path for that fault current, as there is no fault earth leakage fault current. So how we will come to know that which equipment do not have chance of the earth leakage fault? How we will come to know? If we will know that this equipment has no any chance of the earth leakage current, then we can go for the 2 earth pin plug or charger. Those equipment on which there is this symbol is available, it means this equipment do not have any chances for the earth leakage fault. This symbol is a symbol for the double insulation. It means that equipment is double insulated. So even if there will be any detach of the phase wire or neutral wire, it will touch to the inner part of the insulation, and you are encountering always with the upper part of the insulation. So first of all, there will be no chance of earth leakage fault, and even if there will be the earth leakage fault, it will not be in the contact which you are touching. It will be with the inner part of the insulation. So you will never get shock due to the earth leakage fault current from that equipment. So if that is the case, then actually we don't require earthing. So the mobile charger or the equipment which having the earthing pin is connected to those equipment which have a double insulation symbol. It means that equipment is double insulated, and this equipment do not have any chance of the earth leakage fault condition. Hope I'm clear now. Now it is clear that when there is a double symbols in any equipment, then we can go for the 2-pin plug or 2-pin charger, 2-pin adapter. But why there is a plastic pin? We can directly remove it and we can make it as a 2-pin. But why again there is a plastic pin? The reason is very funny and very interesting. Nowadays, the 3-pin sockets are coming with the shutters. Okay, and this shutter has that mechanism that until and unless this earthing pin will not go inside, the phase shutter and neutral shutter will not open. So if you have a 2-pin charger and you encountered with a 3-pin socket which have a shutter, then you will face hard time to plug this mobile charger in this kind of shutter, as you don't have a earthing pin to unshutter this shutters of phase and neutral. So what manufacturer did it? They provided a dummy earthing just to unshutter the slot of the 3-pin sockets. The use of this earthing pin is just to unshutter the shutter of 3-pin sockets. This is quite funny, but this is the reason. Now let us try to find some other more interesting facts related to electrical plug. In some of the equipment plug, you will find these holes in the plug pins. What is the reason behind this hole in the equipment plugs? The reason is safety. Suppose this equipment which is connected with this plug have maintenance, and this plug is far from that equipment, then you will unplug it and you will start the maintenance in that equipment. But if someone will come and plug it again with the power source, then the guy who is doing the maintenance for that equipment, he will get shocked. So in order to avoid such situation, manufacturer providing this hole in order to connect, in order to provide a lotto lock on this plug. So the guy who is maintaining that equipment which is connected with this plug, he will make lock through this hole and he can do the maintenance in the equipment. And here it will be mentioned that the equipment which is connected with this plug is under maintenance, do not plug it. And even he cannot plug it as there is a lock, so this lock will not let anyone to plug with the socket, and the key of that lock will be with the guy who is maintaining the equipment which is connected with this equipment electrical plug. So the reason of hole for such type of plug is for the safety of the personnel who is doing the maintenance. Hope you understood this concept. Now let us try to understand more interesting facts about the sockets and plug. Here you can see that this is a 5-pin socket. As for the single phase, we need 3 pins, one for earth, one for line, and one for neutral. But why there is a 5-pin? Is it for 3-phase? As in the 3-phase, we need 5 points. 3 for phases R, Y, and B, 1 for neutral, and 1 for earth. So my question is it for 3-phase system? No, you are wrong. This is not for 3-phase system. This is also for single phase system. But some guys have misconception, but it is, I think so many of you know this one, that it is a single phase socket only with 5 pins. This 6 pins all together giving 2 rating for this socket. This 3 holes is giving 15 ampere rating for this socket, and this 3 small holes giving 13 ampere rating for this sockets. So if you find that there is a 6 pins in the socket, it means it has 2 ratings, one higher rating and one lower rating. Some sockets also coming with the 2 rating as 6 ampere and 13 ampere also. This type of socket and plugs have a very limited range of rating, maximum till 15 ampere I have seen so far. If you want a plug with higher rating, you have to go for the industrial type plugs. The blue color is for single phase and the red color is for 3-phase indication. If you find this industrial socket is made up of blue color, then it is a single phase socket. And if you find that industrial socket is made up of red color plastic, it means it is a 3-phase socket. Even you can get this information from counting its pin. As there is a 3 pin, it means 1 for earth, 1 for phase, 1 for neutral. And in the 3 pin, there will be 6 sockets. 6 pins, 1 for earth, 3 for phases, and 1 for neutral. From that, there also you can get the information, but as per the color code, I'm just informing you, blue color is for single phase and red color is for 3-phase. And if you want, if you have a load of suppose say 32 ampere or 63 ampere, then you cannot go for these kind of plugs and sockets. You have to choose the industrial socket which will be looking like this, and there is another model also. So in that case, you will go for industrial socket. In industrial sockets also, in order to avoid wrong connection, meaning phase with the earth, earth with the phase, neutral with the phase, to avoid such connections, there is one notch and there is a slot for that notch. When these two are coming together, then only the male and female will come together, will insert in each other. So in that case, only the phase will go in phase pin, and earthing pin will go in earthing slot, and neutral pin will go in neutral slot. As in this video, during discussion, I have shown you some types of electrical sockets and plug. There are different types of electrical sockets and plug. In India, D type is popular. In UAE, G type is popular. And different countries have different types of sockets and plugs. But just to mind it, India has D type and C type also. If they don't have earthing, then C type and D type is popular. In UAE, G type is very popular. I hope you got some interesting facts related to the electrical plugs and socket. If you really like this video and you find this video informative, then please give thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Share with your electrical friend this video. We will meet in any other video. Till then, take care, keep learning, and bye-bye. Thank you so much.